Oh yes. Oh, not just the diet, but even a lot of our fashions, or a lot of our things that we see, that we do. You know, the high heel shoes tilts your uterus, so you're going to be tend to having premature births, you know, miscarriages and things of that nature. You know, ectopic pregnancies are things that are happening a lot more today than they did in the past, where, you know, it's you know, it's the baby is formed outside of the uterus, you know, and it's creating these things create massive problems. So yes, a lot of things that are hidden today that we don't really talk about, even within our community, you know, where we have children that are being born deformed or with certain mental conditions and things like that. It is absolutely directly tied to the diet, and of course other things. A lot of this radiation that we're living under with this cell phone culture, the microwaving and things of that nature, the chemicals that we're putting in our hair, on our body, the chemicals we're putting inside of our body, the chemicals in our house. We need to live in a chemical-free house. We need to have, if we're going to use, you know, certain things to clean the house, to clean our clothes, they have to be free of chemicals. You know, so this is a major thing. You know, and of course, other environmental hazards of smoking and things of that nature, alcohol, you know, life-destroying drugs, you know, medications, all of these things. We got to put these things in check. We got to really raise our level of consciousness and awareness, and be more of you know, a more conscious keeper of our personal life. You know, otherwise, hey, we're part of the problem.
So I have an idea. There's 888 people in here right now. And when the borders around the world open back up and the flights start happening, I have an idea that myself and yourself should get some of these people together and do a detox/healing retreat, which they will have to pay good money for, because we are going to use our time and energy and resources to give them more life, or let them give themselves. But there's a lot of people who, since Dr. Sebi's passing, they had an idea that they were going to go to Usha, and now they don't want to go to Usha. Though Usha is still open, by the way. And since Dr. Afrika's passing, they're kind of like just a bit lost, and they want a place where they can come and get this knowledge direct, as well as get the food, etc. So I'm thinking that we do something in Jamaica, and we do something in Ghana as well, where bring the diaspora and the indigenous Ghanaians, Jamaicans together, and we give them an opportunity to fast, to meditate and prayer, to also, after the fast, to consume some of your amazing raw culinary services, and then within that we can get down to speaking to them about the health benefits of many things, including, and this brings me on to my last question, because I've got to go, I've got a phone call, but this brings me on to my last question. What has been done to the ganja, and why is it that now people think that they're smoking ganja every day and all of a sudden they're spiritual, but they're not making the tea from it, they're not extracting the oil and putting it into their skin, into their hair, but they are consistently burning this plant, not steaming it, so they don't use a steam chalice, they're burning this plant, it's chemicalized, it's hybridized. Because people ask me all the time, do you smoke weed, do you smoke weed? I said, no, I don't smoke weed, because the weed business and ganja are two different things. So what would you say to people about ganja? A lot of people in their house right now, and they're smoking ganja, and they mix it with the blunt, with the backwoods, and the cigarette, they're putting the plantation into their body. What would you say about ganja, and why is ganja important?
Well, I tell you, if you watch the history in modern times of what they did with that sacred herb, it's very interesting. You know, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they had a war on it. You know, basically the U.S. government, you know, incorporated, you you know, went around the world and destroyed practically every native ganja, you know, plant, seeds, foundation, you know. And while they were doing that, the U.S. Corps of Army Engineer had been busy developing new strains of ganja, you know, and they migrated a shift between the THC and the CBD, you know. So it's a radical thing that has taken place. So a lot of what we're consuming today are coming from these genetically modified seeds that they have created. They were busy in California doing this stuff for years. So yes, all of a sudden now it's legal. And we can now smoke our brains out. Because it's not just, you know, firing it up, it's torching it. When you actually take that herb and roll it up, whether it's in corn husk or a piece of paper, or wrapping it with cigarette tobacco or whatever you're doing, and torching it like that, you're extracting the medicinal value. Yes, you are. But along with that, you're also now activating the toxins, the toxins that are in it. That's why you see practically all herbal teas, when you're dealing with herbal teas, they tell you it is recommended to steep. Don't even boil, because the more heat you add to herbs, the more toxins you're going to release. You're going to get the medicinal value, but along with that, you're going to get the toxic effect. So imagine now we're torching this herb, activating the toxins in it as well to deal with our glaucoma and all of these things. That yes, the herb is for the healing of the nation. I mean, we see many nations that have been around for years, and there's been smoking, you know, India and a lot of these places, these guys been torching ganja for years. And is the nation healed yet? For the amount of herb that they have smoked over there, you know, the amount of herb we've smoked in some of our indigenous communities, we should not be worried about no virus today. We should have built a system, a healing powerhouse system, that we should not be, all we gotta do is just blow a bazooka torch, you know, ganja, you know, in the wind, and say, hey, we are mighty. But anyway, yes, the herb is for the healing of the nation, but fire kills the nation. Ganja is food. And just like any other food, when you burn it, you torch it, you kill it, you destroy it like that, you activate the toxins. And you not only activate the toxins in ganja, but you're putting it through your lungs. And here, this is the big challenge right now with this corona business, is the lungs. You're putting it in the lung. The lungs are supposed to expel toxins, and you're putting toxins into the lungs, and those toxins will hit the bloodstream immediately as soon as you take that draw, and that blood is going to the brain right away, right away. But it's got these toxic elements in it now that is actually assaulting the brain, destroying the brain cell, and we kick back and say, oh, I feel irie, I feel nice, I feel high. It's a toxic irritation of the brain, destroying brain cells, and it's because of the fire, not the herb. It's what the fire did. So some of us, we burn the chalice and we steam it and all of these, you're still activating a certain degree of toxins.
But it's less with the chalice than it is with the burn.
Yes, it's less because you're steaming and it's the vapor and things that you're really dealing with. But you see what is going on. But look at what we did traditionally, say even with a bush like Cersei. Take Cersei and we just rub it with some water, mash it in our hands and squeeze the juice out and we drink the juice. Why we don't do that to ganja?
Right.
Why we're not taking our fresh ganja leaf and crushing it, blending it with coconut water, or getting a wheatgrass juicer and juicing it and drinking the juice, the life, the electrical energy.
Yeah.
First, you put fire upon it, you kill the electrical current. You short circuit.
I remember the first time I had ganja tea, and the first time I had ganja in a smoothie, and the first time ganja wait, no. I had ganja with coconut water, like ganja juice.
Yes.
Boy, I vibrated high for the rest of the day.
Yes. But look at the kind of things we're doing. We're doing ganja cookies, things that still require high flame. High flame, the legal stuff. You see a lot of legal ganja cookies now and all kind of different. This is the high flame, it's the heat, it's the fire that creates the problem. But yes, you can take fresh ganja juice, have an ounce of it, 2 ounces of it, and if you had a hot flash, and the minute you drink that, that hot flash is going to cool down. You know, we're talking, you know, it put this menopausal garbage in your system that you need to burn up with the hot flash. It puts it in check, and it not automatically neutralize it. The same way it will clear the glaucoma from your eyes. Glaucoma is nothing but dried out starch. It's dried out bread and dumpling. And when you smoke a lot of ganja and you want to get those toxins off the brain, you're going to reach for some munchies. And usually the munchies, hard dough bread, patty, all kind of heavy ground food, provision, stuff that's hard to digest, and mostly heavy stuff and radical protein, chunks and junk.
You're talking about munchies in the Caribbean. The munchies in the USA, whoa, high fructose corn syrup, corn, starch, things. So that's what they eat in there. Pizza.
Yes. Yeah, the body's craving for sugar. The brain wants sugar. The brain wants sugar to deal with these toxins that you put in, but you're getting the sugar in the wrong place. You're going to eat starch to try to make sugar from that, and you're going to eat these perverted munchy stuff that is full of processed sugar and all these other things. So you end up in a vicious situation, you know. But what I've observed.
Go on, tell me.
What I've observed very, very carefully over the years is that many of us who have been striving to be raw foodists and eat all raw food, the minute we take a toke of ganja, we run for some cooked food. There's no way you can eat all raw while you're cooking your herb and torching it and flaming it like that and creating this toxic effect on the brain, because the body don't want that blood on the brain to linger too long. So the body is protecting the brain first and foremost. So the body wants to shift that blood from the brain to anywhere else. And the most immediate shift is to put something in your blood that's hard to digest, and the blood comes to the digestive system to break it down. And you said, boy, I don't want to eat the munchies, it blows my high. Yes, because the body is trying to defend and protect the brain. Or you may go have sex, move it to your sexual organ. You want to move that, or go kick some football, or strum a guitar, but get that blood off the brain. So yeah, it helps to do this, it helps to do that, expand your creativity and a lot of these things, but it's basically, you know, a backdoor psychology. You know, we need to come straight up front and just have the grass naturally the way it comes to us from nature. And really, the herbs are for the healing of the nation. And if the nation is not sick, you don't really need herbs. You need the fruits.
So the people, they're right now in their yard, they have ganja, and they're not going to throw it out, right? So what is the best way for them to be able to use it? And what would be the best way for them to be able to use the plant and respect it going forward?
Well, the best way to use what you have now, if you have some coconut water or some fresh juice ready, just put it in the blender and blend it down nice and fine as you can, in your juice, in your liquid, in your coconut water, or even just water, if that's all you have, you know, or your cup of tea or whatever you have, and press it out. You know, use a fine, you know, piece of fabric, a nylon stocking if you have to, a dinner napkin, a t-shirt, whatever you have, and press it out. It's the juice, it's the energy, it's the electrical vibration that you're going to bring all of these elements from the ganja into this liquid form, and you drink it, and it permeates throughout the body and goes where healing needs to take place more critically. So if it's about glaucoma, you know, actually you could take that fresh ganja juice and mix it with aloe vera and put it in an eye dropper and drop that into your eye and break up that glaucoma. The glaucoma, again, is just a dried out starch, and a lot of these other things that we're dealing with. Yes, the oil is great, you know, using the oil and all of these types of things. All of these things is great, but we have to really be careful and try to get it cold press. Cold press, not heat process. Is the heat that's our challenge. And moving forward, you know, it's a big challenge, you know, to just give it up just like that. I smoked for 15 years, you know, and it was a big challenge. And actually, I realized that, you know, the 2 years that I was struggling to eat all raw, you know, 74 to 76, I realized that it was because I was smoking ganja, why I could not maintain a consistent live food diet, you know. And so during that time is when I met my wonderful brother, Kofi Kwatamani, you know, my elder brother, and we both started on the raw journey together because he was the only brother or person that I knew that I was started associating with that did not smoke ganja. And then I realized months later, I'm firmly on this live food diet, and it's because I did not toke anymore. And it's made a tremendous difference.
Okay, so the people them right now, so they can take this ganja, they can blend it, then they can squeeze the juice or press the juice out, and then they can consume it, but they shouldn't put lots and lots and lots in their body at one time. They might make a potent blend, but then they can store that in a refrigerator and go back to it and have an additional dose each day rather than drink it all in one go and then just be blasted.
Yeah, it's medicine. It's not about, you know, getting blasted. You know, it's really about blasting the toxins out of the system, you know, more so than blasting the brain waves, you know. So we have to protect the brain, and we have to go slow. But once you move to that level, now you want to really start hydrating the system more and more and feed the body effectively on fresh fruits, you know, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, and that's going to really help to decrease the craving or the desire for it. But, you know, association also is a big thing, you know. So it's got to be partnership with your posse, with your community, you know. So you got to do it as a gang assignment, you know.
If you find the natural ganja that hasn't been chemicalized, hybridized, and most importantly, the ganja that has seen sunlight, not the ganja that's grown underground. So the electrical ganja, then they need to consume it in a juice or in a tea, and they also need to spread that positivity to their brethren to make sure that they don't get stuck in a let's go around to the house and have a session, because ganja is being used as a weapon and not a blessing. And so when you have a community around you, so there's 1,000 people in here, they can DM each other, they can talk to each other. I'm going to turn the comments back on in a second. And if they live in the same area, they can go on that journey together, because going on a journey in a city on your own is way more difficult than going on a journey unity of people.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes, sir. Okay.
I'm gonna kind of just speak to the people for a second before I go, because I've got a call I've got to take. But myself and Aris, we're about to start a business together, and we're going to be moving together more now, because it's important that we not only get this knowledge, but we apply this knowledge. And I feel like it's now time that Aris starts having his own healing center in Africa. So where you can come to see him in Africa, and you can get the real natural fruits and the real natural herbs and the real natural ganja, because funnily enough, Congo was the only place that they didn't destroy ganja. And engineer, modify it. There was two men, I think they started like High Times or something. They're from Amsterdam. Two white men, they went to Congo to find what they call a land race, which is like an untouched strain. And they went into deep into the jungles of Congo, and they found one, and they took it out of Congo. And they that's the people got this Congo haze right now. They took it out of Congo. They took it to Amsterdam. They weaponized it, and now they're selling it to people as this Congo haze. Congo had to speak on that because one of the men that went there, when he went there, he died of malaria because they didn't pay the people that they took it from. They just took the seeds and went back to Amsterdam and profit now. But Congo took from them when they tried to take from Congo. But Congo still has the most pure and natural in the world that was untouched, because Congo is the last country in the world that Europeans went to, especially in Africa, because they couldn't get there because they kept on getting sleeping sickness from the tsetse fly. So that was the last country to be colonized in Africa by Europeans, was actually Congo, because Stanley Morgan Thompson, or whatever his name was, he couldn't get to Congo from the west. He had to get there via the east through Uganda. And when he finally got there, he was like, well, this is the biggest jungle that I've ever seen. He went to Congo. He then basically, it was a client for King Leopold II was his client, and he opened up Congo to all of the crazy stuff that we know now, but it's still the second largest rainforest in the world. And I figure that actually it would be good to have you there, because that's where I'm going to live as well. And I would like people to be able to come, and you know, when you need to get away from the craziness, the pasa, you can just come Congo and there and heal. And especially the area that we'll be in, it used to be called I think it was the Seychelles. It used to be called the Seychelles of Africa because of how beautiful it is. And so yeah, man, we're gonna move together more. And I figure that actually, if you have time over the next kind of few days, few weeks, we can just do this more often. People go follow Aris Life. So it is Aris ARIS underscore, sorry, Aris ARIS Life LIFE underscore. Go follow him right now. Somebody put this live or these lives on YouTube. I'll be putting stuff on my profile. But thank you, Baba. It's a blessing to have you in here, and respect for the knowledge, consistent, you know.
Yes, well, you're welcome, my brother. It's my pleasure as well. And also, I besides Aris Life, I also want you to keep tight with Aris LaTham as well, which is more of my personal IG face. And also to let you know that I do have a webinar every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Central Time. You know, so you can tune in, get through my website, sunfired.com. You know, you can email us at sunfired so we can get you the link so you can join the webinar as well. And the webinar is about Aris life. It's about my life, you know, and it's really, you know, to put you in a position to understand what makes me tick, what makes me who I am. So we don't talk about anything else but my life during that webinar. And it's once a week. Looking forward to sharing as much as possible with you. Thanks for the invite, my brother Chaka, you know, to join you here and for us to embrace a little tighter, you know, be a little closer. And let's get the retreat center going. Let's get, you know, our world headquarters, you know. And as you see, you know, this is, you know, this is my logo here. And in the middle of it, we got the ruby surrounded by all these diamonds. It's dead in the heart of the Congo. So, you know, I'm coming home, you know, and thanks for opening up the space for me there. Looking forward, my brother. You know, it's all about the love.
Respect, peace, and blessing.
Yes, sir. Bless up.
In terms of nutrition, he is the most well-versed, most knowledgeable, most experienced. There was Dr. Laila Afrika, who I had the pleasure of meeting and reasoning with, and I never got to meet Dr. Sebi, but Dr. Sebi is somebody else who you can, his teachings you can follow. But let's give people their flowers while they're alive, you know. And as you can see, he's 72 and very, very alive. So that's what we're going to be working on right now. Is time. It's the right time, you know. Shout out to all the people who jumped in here. Do me a favor, all the screenshots that you got of us, post it now, put it on your stories, tag us, and we can do this more regularly. Let me see if the brother Dr. Holistic is still in here. He was in here, but maybe he's gone now. Okay, he's gone now. Yeah, so shout out to all the people who tuned in, and I've got to go and get on with work. So respect, peace, and love.